has been about 48 hours since the Tennessee Titans fell to the Los Angeles Rams at home. But after rewatching the highlights, just kind of taking a deep dive into the game, I did see a lot of positive things to come out from this game. Ward, better than we thought. We got a breakout wide receiver and then an elite kicker. So we're going to break that all down here on the latest edition of Titans Today by Chat Sports. But before we do that, I got a goal for you guys. We are trying to get on the road to 12K subs, and I want to start off a little bit small here. Let's just get to 11,500, and all we need is 182 subscribers. So if you want daily videos, you want coverage every single week for all Tennessee Titans news and rumors, go ahead and hit that sub button right now. Let's talk about Cam Ward. And Cam Ward really, I don't want to say he struggled against the Denver Broncos, because everybody that you could possibly think of, once they saw the all-22 film, they were like, this guy is really good. But a big bounce-back day, 19 for 23, 175 yards. And Cam Ward, when he wasn't getting pressured, because he's getting pressured a ton, he looks really good out there. Still taking very good care of the ball, not being really erratic. And you see from his week 2 stats, like 57.6 completion percentage, which last week it was below 50. 175 yards, still hasn't hit that 200-yard mark. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 82.3 quarterback rating. And I really like what I saw out of Cam Ward. Usually last year at Miami, you saw him trying to fit it into tight holes, trying to just make the play happen, but he is letting the game come to him. And when you look at the advanced metrics of when you're deep diving in, and I looked at these next-gen stats, I really don't believe this stat. 2.89 seconds to throw. He is getting pressured. I think he's been sacked 11 times in the first 2 games, and that's 4th most in NFL history. David Carr leads it, but the offensive line has not protected him, and he looks like he's running for his life out there. Aggressiveness, he's been a little bit aggressiveness, and then 63.6 completion percentage. And I just want to look at this chart, because last week it was kind of all over the place. This week, it's very efficient. But you see right there, he's not really going into the middle of the field, and that was his problem during the preseason because he was throwing a lot of interceptions to the linebackers. So he's kind of playing it very, very safe right here. But, I mean, we got to talk about the touchdown. Rolling right just takes away all the unwritten rules of football and said, you know what? I'm throwing across my shoulder, across the field, and finds Elic Ayomanor for a touchdown. Only certain amount of quarterbacks can make that type of throw. You see guys like Patrick Mahomes, guys like Josh Allen, but Cam Ward made that throw, and it was perfect. And throughout, this is only his 2nd game in the NFL. I think it's as we get later and later down the year, Cam Ward's only going to get better. He's going to develop as a better quarterback, and hopefully he gets more pressure. He gets less pressure from his offensive line. Peter Skoronski was getting a lot better. He's playing very well throughout this year. He has not let up any pressures. Now, the rest of the offensive line, that's a different story. But I'm impressed with Cam Ward, not impressed with the offensive line. So I'll ask you guys, were you impressed with Cam Ward versus the Rams? Do you think you got a franchise quarterback here? Or do you think, it's going to be a work in progress? I'm still a little bit questionable with Brian Callahan and his second half adjustments, because this is the 2nd straight game where you're leading at halftime and then you don't even score a touchdown in the second half. Go down in the comment section right now and let me know, I for impressed or N for not. Going to get to the rest of what I saw from the game and the good news. But first, I got to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I made a lineup for Thursday Night Football because I couldn't wait for the Titans game next Sunday against the Colts. So, I got the more on Josh Allen, rush and receiving touchdowns. The more on Tua Tagovailoa on passing yards, because I think that they're going to pass a ton. And for Patrick Mahomes, a max discount. The more on passing yards just needs one. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, let's talk about who Cam Ward loves throwing to, and that's Elic Ayomanor. And he has been incredible, to say the least. And we kind of saw that coming out of Stanford, the ability for him to route run. I really like what I've seen out of Elic Ayomanor. Week 1, I mean, if they challenge the play, Brian Callahan challenges it, it looks a lot better. And this week, he was even better. Like, you got a star on your hands. The one-handed catch, unbelievable. And Cam Ward, he had a lot to say about Ayomanor after the Week 2 game. He said, I've always had confidence in Ayomanor since day one. I knew it from the jump. Me and him went to the rookie premiere. We had workouts. Me and him wake up, work out, and then we throw in the hotel room. I just knew me and him would connect on a lot of plays this season. And I went and looked at kind of just the stats that we've seen throughout the first 2 weeks. And Calvin Ridley was known as going to be your number one wide receiver. But the stats are very, very, very similar. Like Calvin Ridley's getting 14 targets. And Elic Ayomanor's getting 13. He only has one more reception than Ayomanor. The yards, well, Ayomanor should have more, but again, that challenge call, and then same amount of average, Ayomanor has the touchdown. Calvin Ridley's got to be better. And we see just how much Ayomanor has impacted this Titans offense with kind of just the advanced analytics. If you go on Next Gen Stats, you can see Ayomanor had 31.18 of the Titans' air yards versus the Rams. He's looking for him. Cam Ward is looking for Ayomanor pretty much almost every single play. It's either going to Calvin Ridley or it's going to Ayomanor, but I think he's only a rookie. So as the weeks go on, and if Calvin Ridley keeps dropping passes, I called it. I said Calvin Ridley was going to average 1,200. I'm looking like an idiot right now. So I hope he gets better because it's only going to help this offense even more and more. But it's kind of interesting to see who's going to be this wide receiver one going forward throughout the rest of the year. I want you guys. Who do you think is going to be the wide receiver one? By, let's say, week 9, week 8. Is it going to be the rookie Elic Ayomanor, or is it going to be Calvin Ridley? Type CR for Ridley or type EA for Elic Ayomanor. And the last takeaway that I have, and I necessarily don't want to say it's a great thing because I like to score touchdowns, but it seems like you might have an elite kicker in Joey Slye. I mean, look at those stats against the Rams. 4 for 4, 1 extra point, a long of 57. He has been absolutely incredible through the first 2 games of the season, and I didn't like the signing. I wanted to keep Folk, but this comes from Nick Seuss, who covers the Titans. And this was a stat that I saw, and it says between 2014 and today, which is when the game was going on, the Titans made 2 55-plus field goals as an organization. On Sunday's game, Joey Slye had a 55-yarder and a 57-yarder. He's been all over the field because he's been kicking a lot throughout this year. 8 for 8, 57 long. He's only kicked 1 extra point because the Titans can't score. You see the total points, 25. He might lead this entire team in points by the end of the season, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But it's also very important to have a good kicker. It's very important that you're able to make those 57-yard field goals, those 55-yard field goals, because if you can trust your kicker, once you get in the red zone or once you get in field goal range, it's really good. You score as many points as you possibly can. We saw on Sunday with the Cowboys-Giants game, they have Brandon Aubrey, who can kick from anywhere on the field, basically. In 15 seconds, they went to midfield, kicked a 64-yarder to tie it, to go into overtime as time was expiring, and they later won the game, all because of Brandon Aubrey. So it's very, very important to have a kicker. And I like the Titans, what Joey Slye is bringing to this team. But you got to score touchdowns. Touchdowns are worth 6 points. Field goals are worth 3. You got to score touchdowns. And you're going to have a tough matchup this weekend against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm getting a lot of 2024 Saints vibes from this team. If we remember, the Saints started off 2-0. They had 2 blowouts, including a Week 2 blowout against the Dallas Cowboys, and then the Week 3, everything fell apart. They went on a 6-game losing streak. I'm getting a lot of vibes from those Colts, and you can be the one to stop that little winning streak that Daniel Jones and the Colts have. So it's a tough matchup, and it's an important one because you don't want to start 0-3. But we got you covered all throughout the week. Gonna have a preview coming out later in the week and all the news and rumors that you could possibly think of for the Tennessee Titans. So hit that sub button, and as always, tighten up.